right, welcome to HojuKimchi special episode, the NRL Grand Final. The Broncos and the Melbourne Storm are in the Grand Final. And today we have a couple of special guests. You've seen Peter before, our dear fellow Broncos supporter, Peter, and our first-time guest and a huge fan of the show, Vincent Yang. Hello.
Hello. So I'm a Melbourne Storm supporter. I've been a Storm supporter since 1999. And the backstory is in 1999, I was in year six and I relocated to Western Sydney. So kind of more closer to Penrith. 'Cause everyone knows league is the one true sport out in the western suburbs. And then that year it was the grand finals. It was the Dragons and Melbourne Storm. I'm like, okay, I'll wait till see who wins this year's final, and then I'll jump on that bandwagon. And then
Awesome.
the Storm won that year, right? So I
Yeah,
was like, okay, I'll go to Rebel Sport, buy my NRL Melbourne Storm branded footy ball,
all
kicked
right.
around the back in the park, and then that's when I became a Storm supporter. And then as I grew up, where it really solidified was Craig Bellamy. So high school, growing up, all about success, consistency, effort. So rather than a Storm supporter, I guess I could say, in blasphemy, I'm a Craig Bellamy supporter.
Wow. Okay. Well, and that's one of the talking points on whether this might be the last dance for Craig Bellamy.
So, hello again, everyone. I was on this podcast a while ago on another Broncos related episode. I've been a Broncos supporter ever since I started watching footy, which compared to these guys, not that long, but still for me, it was 2005. So, when I first came to Australia, basically, just turned on the footy and the Broncos just happened to be playing. And I was like, you know what? I'll just choose these guys because why not? And yeah.
Okay. All right. Good stuff. All right, Bozza. Hello. What's up?
Broncos life member here.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Vinny. This is going to be a grand final for the ages. We meet again, basically 20 years later. Hoo, hoo, hoo. Broncos forever.
Let's get into the grand final. So, latest I saw on Tab, it was $1.70 Storm and 2.10 Brisbane Broncos. What do you guys think about those odds? And just by the way, let's give a bit of love for Vinny and Peter, especially Vinny since it's your first time joining and it's probably going to be your last time because the Storm won't ever be in it ever again. Vinny, what do you think about those odds?
What were the odds again? I was too
$1.70,
focused on
$1.70
thinking
Storm.
about if we win, this podcast ends, there's no next episode.
170 though, Vinny. That's short though, isn't it?
170?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I say
170.
they're fair odds. So let me put it this way. Craig Bellamy, grand finals, when he gets to a grand final, his conversion rate is basically 50%, like give or take, right?
Yep,
So
yep.
he's already half guaranteed to win this. And then now if you look at the performance of the Broncos leading up to this, it hasn't been convincing.
Yep.
It's very reflective of how the Cronulla Sharks won that premiership with Paul Gallen, right? They scraped it in, last minute ditch efforts. Obviously, in games like these, there's a bit of luck involved, but it's that kind of one final play or that special play. It just all clicked, came together, and they just came over the line, right? And is it 2 or 3 games in a row they've done this? So based on that, I think the odds as a Storm supporter, if you were to punt at $1.70, I think it's very strong still. As it gets closer to the game, it's going to go down. I reckon it'll be like $1.50 maybe.
Oh, okay. All right, Peter, what do you reckon?
No, I agree. Without all the bias, I think it's very fair. Like Vinny said, the lead up to the grand final hasn't been as convincing as the Storms has been. Although I think we've had, hands down, every fan would agree, the hardest run to the finals this season compared to any team, bar none.
Never seen something this hard. Yep.
Yeah, it's been just struggle after struggle. But look, the odds can be whatever. I don't care. As long as we get the dub in whatever way, shape, or form, that's good with me.
Boz? You're gonna have a
Um,
punt, obviously.
Mate, definitely Melbourne should be favourites. I think that's fair. 170, massively short. Even the team on paper, Brisbane have a fucking good team on paper. On paper, we haven't performed, as Vinny has said. But on paper, dude, fucking pound for pound, surely we got better matchups. Like they might have one star, Pappy, fucking Harry Grant. But pound for pound, surely we got a bit more star power. You know what I'm saying? A bit of Tony Stagg,
Well,
a
I
bit
don't,
of
I don't know about
ex-Sergeant
star
Wilson.
power.
I just want to say I
Yeah.
agree with Vinny about the Craig Bellamy effect though. Love the logic of the fact that he's just been in 10, 1 5, 2 were obviously, cheated, stripped, whatever, but it doesn't matter. He's been there and he's halfway there. Like, I don't like that fact. That fact does scare me. He's been there, he's halfway there. I don't like that. And then we have the mental scars of 23, bit fresh. But I feel the redemption yesterday kind of really, I think that's a bit of a redemption arc.
Yeah, so according to GPT, this is the 1 to 17 for the Storm. So Pappy, Warbrick, Howarth, Meaney, Coates, Munster, Hughes, Stefano, Harry, Josh King, Katoa, Barrero, Lissati, Kamika, McDonald, Wishart. Does that sound about right?
Do we get Nas back?
No,
Nelson
no,
Asafa.
no.
So this is his week
Suspended.
3 of suspension.
Yep.
Unlucky.
We'll go through the 1 to 17 for the Bronx first.
Yeah, it's Walsh, Karapani,
Yeah,
Stags,
Karapani.
Shibaseki, and Dean Mariner, Ben
Yeah.
Hunt, no, Ezra, I reckon will start. Sorry, Reynolds, Jensen, Ben Hunt will be 9, in my opinion. Haas, Yakura, Jordan Dickey. Smoothie stays, but he's on the bench. I say Carrigan at 13. Toby Henderson, Xavier Willison, Ben Tolte, and I reckon Akes is the one to miss out.
Peter, what do you reckon?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it happens. I guess Smoothie has a bit more like physique on him, and he did play very well, I think. But I feel like Pakes has more agility, more speed for him to come on like mid/late game, which would work better. I personally would have Pakes in the 14, but if Smoothie stays, I wouldn't be too fussed about that either.
Yeah, and Tolte will be there, yeah?
Oh, 100%. He needs to be there.
Yeah.
Love the guy.
When I watched
Salty.
Smoothie on the weekend, I think he's a great player. He starts off well, but you could tell on the back end he lacked fitness and experience of 480.
Yeah,
And then
'cause
you
that's a
could
good
see
player.
fatigue setting in. And then he was getting a bit lazy, slow in the ruck, gave up penalties, lazy arms, gave up penalties. And I think if Storm are smart enough, they will target him towards the back end of the game.
So you reckon Pakesy? You reckon you go Pakesy, Vinny, instead?
Possibly, but then this is the team that beat the Panthers, right? You don't change that lineup, no matter what.
I think Madge is the type of guy like Slater in that he'll back himself and he'll do what he thinks is the best team, not necessarily go by what won last week. Bringing back Reynolds and kind of shows that as well.
Yeah.
Let's just start from our number 1, Happy versus Walsh.
That's
Walsh
hard.
by a long shot. Pappy, he fits into the system, and you got to feel for the dude. He's had multiple leg injuries, right? He's got a steel rod, and you can tell he's still blistering fast, but he's nowhere near what he used to be, right? He's
Still gun, though.
dangerous, but not that next level. This guy will just run through any gap like a slippery eel.
I still really fear for him, especially at the middle of the ruck. Like just when the fucking spine get on and then boom, like Harry and then to bloody Monster and then inside ball and then Pappy cuts through. Like that's the kind of shit that I fear and that's something that I want Walsh to do more. But yeah, like obviously Walsh's current form and just physically he looks so fucking strong and he just kind of like gets his nose through the defense line constantly at the moment.
I think
I still
Walsh has the kicking game, and he lives off momentum. Perhaps he's more like a system player.
Yeah.
So Walsh, when he gets emotional and he is mentally locked in, he pulls the trigger at the right place, the right time, right? He will make those 40-20s. The difference where it'll come down to is, as we saw on Sunday, when he's going wide and he's gone around the outside of his man that he needs to beat, and he's got the center and the winger to pass, and he sees the rushing defense, he will make that godly pass to the winger, the cutout pass, and it's a very risky pass. Some of those passes he should just hold on and just go to ground. They're risking intercepts. And if I know Storm, they're going to have a read on this. They're going to pick it out once. It's going to happen once.
And just that point there, Vinny, that pass, that rush of blood pass that Walsh did, that was obviously Mariner scored, but that was fucking second tackle, okay? 4 minutes to go. See, for me, the thing is Storm Penrith, they take the tackle, right? He could have just taken the tackle, like, bro, there's 4 minutes, second tackle, bro, like, the pressure on. Do or die play, bro, the camera fucking angle, I thought he threw it to no one. I didn't know Mariner was out there because the camera didn't show it. And then fucking, it wasn't even a good pass. It bounced up, bro. That could have been anything. So that's the thing. He can get fucking pushed emotionally into those passes, bro. That was a good fucking run. Okay, as you said, Dennis, he ran through. He attracted like 4%. The fucking get up and play the ball, son. Kotoni Staggs, he's in so much good form. He could pick up and just score from dummy half. You never fucking know. I say, bro, just fucking relax a bit, mate. You know what I mean?
It's a glory pass and he can pay off.
Yeah.
It's a glory pass, but I think with experience over the next 3 years and playing Origin, his decision making those situations could become more controlled. I think he's still quite young and he is coming into his skin where he's an absolute amazing athlete and he's just living off it, right? He's living off those fumes and he's just more experienced in big games and then he'll control that.
If you kind of swap the plays around, they wouldn't be as effective. So Pappy is only that effective at the Storm because the Storm are such a systematic team, whereas the Broncos are more kind of like ad-lib, they kind of improvise, and that's kind of where Walsh thrives. So if you kind of swap the two around, I think it doesn't work. But because they're in their respective teams, that's why they're so good. I still got Walsh though. Centers, I got the Bronx. Wingers, I got Storm. I think Warwick and Coates on the wing as an aerial threat is insane. They have so much height over our wingers, and Dean Mariner is ridiculously fast, but Coates, the guy just gallops. It's like a gazelle. I definitely got Storm wingers over us, but I think center-wise, Stags, Shibasaki, they've been playing lights out this whole season, so I'll take them.
I just want to add Coates though, Coates, as I like to call him, Coates. Look, I need him to have a bad game, brother. Like, because sometimes he get a bit iffy, you know, right? Yeah. You know, when he gets like pushed back and shit, when he makes the meters, like, really need that from your Coates. Come on, brother.
We all know with Coates, he gets put on the side where he's going to win the aerial game. So the question to the Bronx is, which one of your wingers is short, like Brian Toe, or has had troublesome moments under the high ball? We know Jerome Hughes can kick it on the money. That is the side, I reckon, in the first half of the half. That's where all the kicks are going to go, and we're going to really test the Bronx out. I think our Storm wingers are more seasoned. They're much stronger. They're much more athletic. So, like, Xavier Coates got speed and height. And then, what's that? Warbrick is just size, right? He's very similar to the Roosters winger, the Union guy.
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark, yeah. That guy is probably like national level. Like, his origin.
Dude, he's got shoulders like this fucking wide, man. He's crazy.
He's built the same, I reckon. He's that new generation, the modern winger who's all size and speed. Yeah, I would put the wingers. I think we win the wingers game.
But then you agree, centers wise, maybe defense and form and power, we've got it in the centers. Stags is just in a career best form right now.
I honestly think Stags is the one, man. If we're gonna win, I think it's up to Kotoni Stags for sure. He needs to be on fucking beast mode, like, you know, when he's fucking angry and shit. We need that Kotoni Stags,
And you know, like Shibasaki just rock solid on defense, and you know, just our back five, the meters that we make from our try line, it's been pretty impressive the last couple.
Shibasaki, he just needs to defend. So, because he can have some misreads. So Shibasaki just fucking defend and then just fucking catch the ball. If Walsh gives you the ball, just fucking catch it. Simple. That's his job. Catch the ball from Walsh, fucking defend.
For the Storm, I think your centers are a threat. And I put our back row edge players. I reckon they shift out, help with the pre-slide transition defense, and then it's going to kind of leave a gap kind of for the halves and the roaming people to run in, and then we're going to read off that play, and then we just make a double tackle and just stop you there. I reckon that might be the game plan.
Well, let's go to halves. Firstly, who do you think will be our halves?
No, I think they will go and start Ezra this time, considering how clunky our attack was. I think this is where, look, I was just really hoping the Sharks got over so we can roll them, but fuck, like, Munster, bro, that guy, again, look, I need him to have an off game. Like, if he has like a fucking Origin-like game, it's gonna be a tough night. But he also can have off games, as we all know. Like, well, everyone can, but we just need to, you know, have one of those games where he's not as involved, he's not as running, his kicks aren't going off. Like, we're just rattling him a bit. Tire him out in defense, please. Hughes, we need to fucking test that shoulder, test that wrist. Look, honestly, I think the key to winning is we need to fucking, obviously cliche, but win the fucking forward battle. Like, fucking, we have the size and power. Yeah, barge over them, right? Right? Fucking call for penalties and shit. Like, fucking do that shit. Call for the penalties. Really, really try to milk the Storm choking. Get some penalties. Field position down the field.
Wait,
Fucking.
I asked about halves, all right? Fucking just stick to the stick
Okay,
to the
all right, sorry,
script.
mate. Look, halves. Sorry, I'll throw it over to Vinny. But yeah, Munster, Hughes, too good, too good.
Yeah.
We need to shut them down. We can't let them control the game. All right, that's it.
I think it's gonna for the Bronx. You guys gotta definitely play Adam Reynolds, and then definitely play Ezra Mam. I think what you guys learned, Ezra Mam is needed to unlock Walsh. Ezra Mam beat a guy, pass it into the back. Walsh runs around, and then he opens up. That makes your edge attack so much more potent. Adam Reynolds, oh, I got to comment to this, man. He comes back first game, and then he just makes that conversion at the end. And then the end of the game, the players, what was it? Reece Walsh was asked who made the call for Adam Reynolds to kick. He hasn't kicked for like 8, 10 weeks, and then it's like it was his call. He goes, Adam's built for this, right? So like. He's a veteran, right? He's a player that South let go, and then they tick the next 10 years.
I know. I don't know how the fuck that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, but what was surprising was how many runs and hit ups Munster had in that first half. He was just running, right? It's almost like the game plan was they're gonna think Munster's not a threat and your defense is watching all the edge players. And he was just making sure, setting it up for the second half. Watch me. I'm the guy who can start from a standstill and just kind of fend you and make my way through the line and then offload it. And he just kept running that play. And then the defense just basically said, all right, we're sticking to Munster no matter what.
Yep,
And I think that
193
opened up the whole
meters.
game. And he set that up. Like that must have been the game plan against your game plan, right? Hughes, yeah, as long as I think if he plays a bit like Cronk, where he's experienced, figure out a way to hide in the line, try not to get as much involved in the physicality of defense, and like he will make it work. His kicking game is just spot on this year. We win the halves
Hey.
on paper.
Vinny's getting me nervous.
Yeah, I got Storm halves. I think they just I think they kind of complement each other extremely well. Hughes been obviously as always playing lights out. Do we really want to like play Reynolds in the starting halfback? I think he's too good not to play. Yes, he might have a quiet game, but I think his experience in his kicking game and like kind of if the game gets to that kind of tight kind of situation, like his experience and the way he kind of orchestrates the team around the field is going to be priceless. It's probably going to be worth like tries and more, I think. So we definitely need him there. I think our attack will be much better once Ezra starts. Hypothetically, if he does, he should. So yeah, I still got the Storm halves, but I think our attack is going to be a lot better than what we saw yesterday.
Yeah, I reckon the Storm halves are basically a better version of ours. In similar sort of number 7, kicking and facilitating, and then 6 running. Obviously, Cronk is more than just a runner. But I think Hughes being in is just so big. He really unlocks your wingers, with the aerial threat. And Reynolds has to play really because of the goal kicking. Like obviously the leadership, but seeing how Walsh kicks, we need him for the goal kicking. So I do think if Munster has a big game, it's really, really difficult for us to win.
Adam Reynolds' value is his kicking game from like the 30-40 meter line and his ability to, with that kick and where he places it, like in the back corners to get field position. I think the long range kicks, it still goes to Walsh. Walsh just chucks out massive missiles, right? They just go up the field, give you time
100%.
to just run up and set your line. I think Adam Reynolds is the game controller and he decides how much field position you're going to control.
Yeah.
So he put in a really good kick. He pretty much iced the game at the end because he put a really good kick down in the corner. Like 1 minute, 2 minutes left, bang, in the corner, 16-14. So like that's the shit we do need. But like, dude, I think honestly what we're going to do halves-wise, Reynolds, give the ball either to Ez on the left or out the back to Walshy or drop to forward. Don't fucking balk. Don't fucking grab it. Like, don't do that shit. We don't, like, the thing is, we don't need that. I don't think we need that with our current team. Out the back to Walshy, just give it. Don't worry about it. If Walsh fucks up the play, all good. Out the back, Ezra, dump it to the forward, mate. Don't balk. Don't double pump. Don't cut our part. That's it. That's it. No chip kick, no nothing. And then stick to that plan. As Vinny said, 30-40 meter out, put it the kicks. Better than Hunt because Hunt's still, all Hunt does is the up and under, right? And so Reynolds can be a bit more creative there. Ezra, we know what he can do. Just play like he did against Panthers. Run first. They were fucking obviously they were ganging up on him because of the grand final, bro. This one might be a bit different, a bit more space. Ezra, boom, off the left foot, straight in. Who's in support? Reece Walshy.
Let's go to number nines first. Peter, go number nines.
I don't really need to say anything. Like he's the best hooker in the game. Harry Grant's the best hooker in the game. I think there's no question. No matter how good you can bring in any Broncos hooker, you bring in Pegs, you can bring in Smoothie, you can bring in Ben Hunt. Doesn't matter. You can bring any hooker in. There's no one will be better than Harry Grant.
Well, I guess it's a question of like how much, right?
I think he's the best player in that Storm team.
I've been trying to deliberately not look at the Storm team.
Me too.
This is a fucking grand final for the ages.
That's why
how many fucking Grainbakers are there?
Well, I thought it was ridiculous how the Sharks were given like a good chance against the Storm. Like
they weren't, dude. The bookies were
the odds, like
$3,
even
dude.
Gus backed Sharks. Like I don't know if he meant it, but like a lot of people actually backed Sharks.
People just say that. People just say that so that like when they win, they can be like, "Oh, I fucking backed it." Because I did that too. We were fucking hoping, but like bookie never lied, bro. 3-1, prelim. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the Sharks were always going to make it hard. I reckon they were a very powerful, fast team, and they proved that. But if we stay on the hooker topic, yeah, Harry Grant. Like there was the play towards the end. It was like the Melbourne was still tired. We played the ball, and then the Broncos were just walking back. And then the markers were caught out. They didn't get up on their feet quick enough. They're like, they're so gassed. And then Harry Grant just goes, "Oh, here's the opportunity. I've been waiting for about the last 5 minutes." He picks the ball, and just runs, right? It's those moments. And then, we always talk about effort areas, and it's also timing, right? It's picking those moments and knowing the opposition when they're weak.
Fuck, not feeling good about this.
Well, I'll tell you this, Broncos boys. Okay, what we need from Harry is his game 1 Origin game this year. That's the Harry Grant that we need. And then please, that's all we need.
You're asking for a lot. You want Munster game 1, Harry Grant game 1.
Yeah.
How much
basically.
more? You want perhaps post injury? Yeah. We'll give you that.
Yeah.
You look, most neutral fans want like a game of the ages. I'm just gonna be honest. Bro. Vinny, man, you've won how many grand finals? I mean, it's just give us one, man. Just give us one. Let us just win this one comfortably. No fucking heart attacks, please.
Well, let's compare the forward packs. I think this is, given I guess all the advantages that the Storm have, the Broncos have to win the forward battle to have a chance, really. Yeah.
Yep.
Is Carrigan out?
No, he's back.
No, he's in.
No, he's back.
And that's like a massive lift. It's a rested Carrigan coming back, and we have Willison, off the leash as well, so like he's not suspended. Yeah.
X.
So I think the pack
sounds rigged to me.
What's that?
Sounds rigged to me. Nas gets 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Maybe Storm should have lost the first game and then play an extra game to get Nas in.
Bro, that's what I'm saying, bro. That's like real fucking Moneyball tactics, bro.
Obviously, we've got the best fucking prop, the GOAT prop of all time. I think he showed his like true value yesterday for sure. Like this guy is
a monster.
Fucking insane. Yeah, he's not human. And he's got his fucking sidekick, Willison next to him, and then we've got Pat Carrigan, who's like another 80-minute player. I think we do get the edge in the forward pack battle. What do you guys think?
I was like I said on the game day during the mid-game chat commentary, Haas was not involved. He was running. He was ready to like rumble, right, and get involved. But it was almost the plan was everyone knows you're a threat. You got to keep running the decoy, and we're going to keep cutting it past you. In the second half, first 5 minutes, he's made more run-ups and hit-ups than he did in the first half. And then that's what got you field position and control of the game. I think Haas is going to be deadly if you start to use him properly. I think we lose him. Who's that other forward? That was Willison, the guy who looks like, in the best way possible. He looks like a primate, like a primitive warrior. Like, kind of looks like he's got a bit of missing teeth.
You're talking about the guy who scored, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking about
the guy.
And he
That's man,
like
big
yeah,
X.
apparently like he was just returned. It was like
Yeah.
just unleashed, like returned to the pack or something. Yeah, that guy is a beast, man. He's like running,
he's the
Payne
next
Haas
turning.
2.0.
Yeah, he's the next guy.
Yeah, but it's like, oh man, if I was like, no matter how whatever athlete I am, if that guy was running at me, man, I'd be scared shitless.
What's his name?
I
Piakura.
think
Piakura, he's
yeah,
Kura.
fucking mad
I
in
think he's the
form.
key.
He's hitting on defense big time. Yeah, like Jensen.
Right, and
Just
he
like,
dude, he runs good lines, which we haven't
Yeah.
seen this final series. He can run off a ball,
Mm.
like so on the left hand side. So I'm thinking like he might be the key.
let's go to the bench.
So the bench will be Kobe Hetherington, Big X, Ben Tolte, and Smoothie or Pikes. And the Storm one will be Lisati, Alec McDonald. Okay, yeah, we shot. Yeah.
He's a utility. Like he's very flexible, and usually when he comes in late in the game, second half, he's like almost nearly
Runs the ball.
guarantees try scoring opportunity somehow.
Yeah, and backup for Hughes obviously if he goes down. So that makes sense. I think we've got the stronger bench.
Seem to sort of cancel each other out a fair
Yeah,
bit, I would
not by
say.
much,
Yeah.
but X. I think X is the difference. you
Man,
would say.
Kami
Kami
Kamika.
Kamika.
That
Yeah,
guy, he
unless
looks like he's
Kamakama-
fucking 60, but he goes pretty well.
Bro, that guy
Yeah, unless
scares
he has
me.
a big game. Yeah, unless he has a big game.
Fiji
Guy's-
and brick,
guy's a
man. Fiji and
monster.
brick.
Bro, we need a couple of knock-ons from him, brother. Need a couple of knock-ons.
So many things need to go our way, but you know, hey, that is footy sometimes. You know, like we needed what's the guy for the Panthers getting HIA in the first 5 minutes.
Sorensen.
That
Sorensen.
definitely helped us out. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Bro,
was a
Matty was
big
saying-
one, right?
So we've gone through the 1 to 17. Let's talk about the coach. Well, Bellamy, over 23 years, he's taken his team to the grand final half the time.
11 times.
11
So it's like
11
close to 50
times.
to the
What's
grand
his
final.
GF record? Any
And then
idea?
it's about half, I think 5 of
50%.
11 or
Okay,
something like
okay.
that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
basically,
50%.
first week of the season, you're already guaranteed to get to the grand final 50-50, and then
Yep.
you get there and it's another 50-50. So literally 25% chance to win it every year.
No, that is fucking true. Dude, that is fucking true. Like, if you're a Melbourne supporter, you're just like, oh, how far are we going to get? Like, prelim is the fucking minimum expectation literally every year.
Yeah, and then compare that to what Madge, he won at the South and then he won Origin, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah.
But he's actually won South one
Yeah.
and then Super League. And then State of Origin, New South Wales, like, against the odds.
Mm.
And...
Was that one against the odds?
Yeah, like, decider at Suncorp. Like, no Cleary. And he did New Zealand
Yeah.
against Australia 30-0 in a final.
Right,
So
New
his
Zealand,
resume is
Oh yeah, the
very
one
good.
game where it was the best New Zealand team ever, right? With like, who's
Yeah.
that guy who went to Union? Yeah,
Yes.
two of us chick. Yeah.
Two of us check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I really like his demeanor. He just seems calm. Like he doesn't fucking rage like Bellamy.
Yeah. One of the rare coaches who I think every time you go to dressing room, he's not smashing things and pointing people and screaming. I think he's always calm and collected. That's his nature. It's very objective. But like, the question's always, can he coach, right? So it's kind of like at the West Tigers, he couldn't coach. And then he went to South, and then it was already like a near complete team, and he just took him. Like Wayne Bennett came then and did it, so you could say it was the team, it wasn't really the coach. And then it's like now the Broncos, he came in, but you guys last year made the finals, so now it's just the team's got more experience. Obviously, it goes down to the different part
Whoa.
of, does it really matter to the coach, or is it like only at certain points in the game that the coach matters? My theory is, if you can coach, you should be able to coach any team.
I was just gonna say there was this fucking YouTube clip about like how like Kevy deserved another shot, and there's like a lot of fans who think both ways. And I fucking put a comment up on YouTube. I was like, bro, we love Kevy as Broncos fan, but at the end of the day, you have to admit, Matt just added a fucking secret ingredient that we just did not have before. We've won like 5 down by 14, 16 games. We don't win those under Kevy, like no doubt. So he's
100%.
definitely added a bit of a secret ingredient.
I think at the start of the season, people were kind of giving him a bit of grief for basically training the team too hard, basically running them off. I think in the end, that's what was missing in this team. Like, we always had the star power, always had the ability to score points. We always just lacked discipline and just that willingness to continue to keep trying. It kind of felt like under Kevy, like, yes, we still had the same firepower, but like once they got in the lead, they were just like, oh, just fuck it, like, you know, we've lost. But I think with Madge, he's definitely added sort of like a grit, kind of like continue to kind of work hard. And then obviously with the results, the last 2 games coming down by so much against two basically best teams in the comp, in my opinion, the confidence is going to be through the roof. Like, I think if the game is close near the end, Broncos get over. Honestly.
Yeah,
I agree. Like, if the game's close, Broncos are over. But can I just say this? We cannot fucking give Melbourne the start. Like, you know, like I thought it was like Penrith 14-0. I fucking kept watching because of loyalty. I was like, I'll fucking stick it through, right? But like, to be honest, how many times are you gonna let that happen before it fucking bites you in the ass?
Exactly.
Yes.
You're gonna give Storm a fucking 16-0 lead in the GF.
Not gonna happen.
You can't do that.
No, it can.
Start fucking better. No, like I know it can happen. Like I know it can happen because like we are fit and we'll come strong fast. But you don't want that to, because you're one pass away from losing the game, okay? So you give Storm 14-16-0, bro. You don't want that shit. Especially with us, because we're like do or die. Start better, boys.
Let me come back to the point around athletes and training, right? So I think the consensus may be not every coach trains a team at the same physicality. And it's a known fact, what you set up in the preseason, and all these players are meant to do it on their own, is how you come out of preseason, you enter it, and you're meant to maintain it. So whatever you start off with at the beginning of the year is what you're going to have for the rest of the year. Because from a strength and conditioning point of view, if you train them harder, you're going to get injured, and then basically the club's throwing money away down the bin, right? And you're going to just pull in like 50K a year, like brickies, part-time players from reserve. So like, if you look at Storm, how successful they are, everyone knows Bellamy, right? Number one thing, any new player, the whole team, pre-season, you got to go on the tradies, right? Got to get onto the tools, and you figure out how hard life is if you weren't gifted as an athlete. And then these guys come in with a mentality, yeah, I love it. I'm going to make sure I work as hard as a brickie does. It's like, I think it's part of the coach and his coaching staff, his strength and conditioning team. It's about the top tier teams towards the back end of the year is how well physically prepared you are, and it's how well you can run like an origin game for the 480.
And in terms of physicality and fitness, I think the Broncos have it at the moment. Just in terms of form and how we finish our games, like second half. Like, fair enough, we don't want to fucking dig ourselves into the hole and have to, come out of it. But if, as Pete said, if it's fairly close towards the back end, I'm confident. And, we'll just have so much confidence with us right now. Like, we obviously have the youth, that experience of losing the grand final that we shouldn't have lost 2 years ago. And then just the last few weeks, how we've kind of come through adversity, there will be just so much confidence.
I think the loss in the last grand final is going to be the biggest factor.
Yeah.
They don't want to fuck up. Look, put it this way. If I'm a Storm fan, like, you don't want to be down by 4 with 5 minutes to go with us with the ball. Like, that's for sure. Like, that's what I'm saying. If you want to win, I think Storm have to lead by 8 with 5 to go.
I don't know about this year, but generally most years that I've watched it consistently, the stat is if Storm are leading at half, you basically don't lose a game. We control it for the rest.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
So you reckon that a halftime lead will be pretty critical?
Yeah. If Storm are leading at half, I think you guys are nearly screwed. Like, you guys are going to have to make miracle plays out of Walshy to get back in the game.
I reckon if we're within 2 tries, I'm okay.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we've got to stay within 2 tries. And when Vinny said, if you're a good coach, you can coach anywhere. Look, I agree with that statement in terms of, like, obviously if like Craig Bellamy coached the Titans, they would be a fucking better team. But he's not going to win grand finals with the Gold Coast. So right now, it's both coaches, good coaches clearly, have the teams. This could be something, boys. This could be something. Yeah. Boys, if we lose another heartache grand final, like, I swear to fucking God, I'll stop supporting the fucking.
Oh God, this is recorded, right? Yeah. I got. Yeah, like I said, this time next week, this podcast is gonna be a team of one. It's just me.
Yeah. Look, Broncos forever, but we cannot lose another heartache grand final, boys. Would you agree? That's just too much.
Yeah, well, hopefully third time lucky. In saying that, it's like kind of a third time for our miracle win as well. Like the past 2 weeks. Is this the third week where we just kind of fall short and miracles don't happen anymore? Or, on the flip side, is this the third grand final that we finally win? So we'll see. Hey, so obviously it's played at Sydney, neutral ground. Is there any advantage? I'm
Storm.
thinking there's going to be more Broncos fans. Am I wrong in thinking
Yeah.
that?
I think
Really?
Broncos
For
fans
sure.
travel more than the Melbourne fan base. I think Melbourne there'll be more of a local Melbourne
Yeah.
support team, but I
Yeah.
think the Broncos will outnumber Melbourne. I think the Queenslanders they're happy to fly anywhere.
The
Huh?
neutrals will go for the Bronx.
Oh yeah, for
Will
sure.
they? Will
Neutrals
they?
will go
Will
for
they
Yeah,
though?
yeah, no,
You
no,
guys
that's
are
the
100%.
narrative.
it's
Will
New
they?
South
It's
No one
like,
wants
Wales,
to
right?
see
As in you're gonna
Storm. No
pick
one wants to see
Melbourne
Storm
over
and
the
Penrith.
yeah, but
Bronx.
I think
Yeah.
the Broncos and Storm like the two of the most hated teams in the comp.
Yeah, but like no one wants to see Penrith and Storm win another one, I reckon. There's
Yeah,
definitely tall poppy syndrome at play. So like
yeah,
people are gonna be
yeah.
like, oh yeah. Yeah.
And
Oh,
just
refs
And
the
conspiracy.
last couple of weeks that we had, just that seeing that fairy tale ending. Hopefully, a lot of people will back that. Like I've been loving Joey just having our back in the commentary box, like fucking
yeah, he
thanks,
loves
Joey.
it. He
Yeah,
likes the way we play.
yeah. Just
That's
because
why.
it's exciting. It's like, he loves
Yeah.
Walsh, man. So I think a really big factor is going to be refereeing, just being how fucking niggly these dirty Storm players are. And, all that grabbing and wrestling and shit that they're going to do, like discipline and refereeing is going to be a massive factor. And I don't know if you guys heard about the ref change. Yeah?
It's
No.
the guy that refed yesterday, yeah?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
he had a great game, I
Yeah.
think.
Thank
Maybe like two
God.
iffy calls, but overall, I think it was a pretty good game.
I,
I
I, I
reckon
thought I thought so too.
quality wise, like they're all gonna make like bad errors and bad calls from
Yeah,
the
yeah,
video
yeah.
box, but like overall, I was happy with it.
Yeah, better
That
than Klein.
Storm
Klein no
Sharks
good.
game was refed to a shithole. I
Yeah.
was so bad. It was like 27
Yeah.
penalties or something like that.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Just
It was insane.
the play time was like really down because of all the
Yeah.
whistles.
Yeah,
But yeah, Boz,
like
what were you gonna
60
say?
minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Storm have a 48-hour more turnaround and yada yada. So, dude, this is a true underdog win. You know, we've been underdog in every single finals game. So, underdog against Canberra, underdog against Penrith, underdog against Melbourne. Dude, it would
I
be a
I don't
fucking
think that
win.
difference of 2 days or whatever is gonna like. I think
Yeah,
Madge had a really good response to that question in the press box. He just said,
yeah.
it's a game where you're playing on Wednesday and you back up on Friday. Like we're having 7 days, it's fine. Like it's just all media bullshit.
Yeah,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
he did say that. Yeah. Just hey, quickly, do you know the Storm prop, Stefano
Yeah.
Ucnamato? Like the yeah, did you hear? He said like the Broncos are
Oh, I
stuck
know
up.
that shit.
Yeah,
Love it.
What's that
I
about?
love
What's
it.
that about?
And then
Good
Pay
shit.
Haas, I think he's replied to the interview that they had him on. It was like, yeah, I can see that they're trying to get in my head. We're not reading into it too much. We're staying off our phones. Yeah, we're just gonna
Oh,
focus on the game at hand.
All right.
It
love
means
it,
he's
love
already
it.
knows about it, right? We're in your heads. You guys are
Nah,
gonna
nah,
come
nah.
in trying to run for high
Ooh.
tackles and
But that's very unstorm. Like
Yeah,
Storm
no, I'm
don't
sure
usually do
Stefano
that.
copped like a mouthful from Bellamy after that. Like,
yeah,
why would you?
it's his first year here, right? Yeah, he's a typical
Yeah,
West
give
Tiger
him some
product.
time.
Like Addo Carr was a West Tigers product. Like we shipped him off and look like drug scandals and everything, right? He can't find a team. Yeah.
True.
We
True.
poach him and then make him into their peak from the West Tigers, and then we ship him off when we know that they think they're better than what they are.
Hmm.
Yeah, dude, Adaka should have stayed. He should have stayed at Melbourne One comms, I reckon.
100%.
Anyway,
Yeah. He
yeah.
All
followed
right,
the
well,
Coke trail.
head-to-head record,
Mate.
it's heavily favors Melbourne because obviously they've had like past 20 years of fucking greatness. So yeah, I don't think we need to make much of that.
We've won the once
Yeah, it
that mattered.
doesn't mean
Yeah,
much.
the one
I think.
2006 grand final and also 2023 qualifying final. If we can get another game like that, that would be good.
Like, let's look at this year, right? Melbourne came second, right? 17-7 record, I think it was, off memory.
Yeah,
Canberra
great
Raiders were the
season.
minor premiers, and I think they far beat, like punched above their belt, like super young team, and they just
Yeah.
played with speed and youth. And the moment the times got hard, just lack of experience and not enough depth. This is like a rebuild team that just got crazy lucky and really clicked well.
Yeah,
I
and
think
good draw.
So if you take Raiders out of it, we're basically minor premiers again in a way. and we've proven it consistently in the run to the finals. I think that makes us probably the most deadliest team like right now.
Okay, fair enough.
Can't
All
dispute the
right.
logic.
Clive Churchill medalist. Who's everyone's prediction? Let's start with you, Peter.
Reece Walsh.
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 Vinny?
Oh, man of the match, Hughesy, man, Hughesy.
Uzi?
I reckon he's gonna make one of those tries again, ice the game, kicking control. Yeah,
Buzzer?
Fucking stop talking, Vinny. Look, I'll go. Look, I'd love to see Walsh get it just to fucking stick it up to the fans. That would be hectic to the haters. But bro, like, I really would love to see Ben Hunt get it for his, the
the drop
2015
ball.
GF. Imagine that, like 10
I
years
watched that
later.
game again. I watched the highlights of that again today. I just felt for him like, fuck, man.
I know it's too harsh. But 10 years later, and maybe even better field goal to win it from Ben Hunt. Who knows? The fairy tales happen. We'll see. But yeah, I actually like percentage wise, I'll say Walshy, Clive Churchill.
It's more of a hope pick, I suppose. But Walsh has obviously had his moments in these finals run. Hunt obviously has his moment. Reynolds obviously did. The next one up is Ezra Mam. I think he's gonna have hell of a grand final and fucking win that medal. All right. What about the final scoreline? Again, starting with you, Pete. Maybe you can just kind of talk through the game and like how it will develop and then how it'll end up.
I think going into halftime, Melbourne will have a slight lead. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. I'm going to say 26-22 Broncos.
Okay, let's go to Vinny last, maybe on this one. What's up?
All right, I'm gonna say Broncos come out firing because we are fucking hungry and we fucking 19 years, no fucking premiership. The boys are ready. They love each other. You can tell. Payno, Haas, Walshy, Katoni Stags. It's on. I say we smash the Storm 30-6. 30-6
Okay.
is the final scoreline. Reece Walsh, Clive Churchill, man of the match.
Yeah.
Hope you're right.
I think it's gonna be very similar to the Panthers game. I do think the first half we'll just have to defend our asses off, and we'll probably go into the sheds with a 10-point lead for the Storm, and then for us to eventually win by 2 points. So similar to like what Pete said, probably about 4-ish tries on each side. 26-24 Bronx.
Broncos, I'll give you 3 tries. Adam Reynolds, 100% conversion. So it'll be 6, 12, 18. I think we're going to score one more try on top of that. 24 or 26. So I reckon 24-18 or 26-18 because I think there'll be a 2-point penalty easily given. Easily.
Okay.
Fair point.
All right. Well, that's a wrap. Let's see.
This is
Let's see
gonna
how
be
we go.
good.
Maybe we'll have a GF review next week. If the Broncos
What do
win,
you
that is.
mean? Yeah, there is nothing happening, right? See you guys in the next live.
Who's
Podcast
gonna come
2.0.
in? It depends who wins, bro. We'll have a Broncos one
No.
if we
We should.
win.
Hey, you know what? Because we went pretty overtime with the GF preview for the Broncos at least. Let's leave our season review for next week, regardless of what happens. Yeah. So it'll either be.
Oh, trying to find a way to stay relevant here, right? Can you just like, give up, don't follow the Bronx? But I was like, I remember what you said.
All right.
Broncos forever, mate. Look, that's the one thing. My mates have told me this. They've said, mate, you're only loyal to the money. You're disloyal to the loyalty. But basically, there's one thing you've been loyal at. Brisbane Broncos, mate. 19 years, no title, brother. I'm still here. This is about to change. This fucking Sunday night. Lock in, Vinny. Lock in, Brisbane. Look
at this.
Get the fuck in,
Look
boys.
at this. This is going to be in all the papers Monday morning. Clive Churchill medal winner right here. This is all you're going to see, mate.
All right, boys. Let's leave it there. All right, but yeah, go the Bronx and may the best
Up
team
the
win.
Bronx.
Yeah. Bronx on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Bronx.
Bronx.